Good morning in this President's Day. Before I start, of course, thank you for joining us. I would like to remind you, if you have any questions, you can reach us at rabbigaon@gmail.com. You can check the Yeshiva out at yeshiva.etzion.com. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, and other social media platforms. And it's important that you join us just so we could spread the word. And feel free to forward, if you like it, feel free to forward it. That will be terrific. That will be great. Now, I was looking at life from the outside, as they say. You know, I guess I'm reaching this age of great wisdom. So I'm looking at the world from the outside, and I'm trying to assess what's working and what's not working, and maybe I can come up with a reason why. So the more I look, the more I see how things don't work. It seems like nothing is working. There are very few nucleuses that actually work. And again, this is all my own personal opinion on a, I would say limited point of view, but nevertheless, it's my eyes of what I see. And the way I look at it is like this: is the only thing that works, that seems to be working and works right, you would find it in military, and you would find it in, not only in military, in the military, you would find it in special op units. And I say, why is it that those special forces, why is it that it works over there? And I'm not saying that they're like, problem immune and like there's no issues there, no problems there. But whatever they do, it works. And I try to say, okay, is there anything there that we have some kind of a similar tool in Jewish life that we could apply it to, that we can make it work just as much as that? And this video is way too short for me to expand on it because I've been spending a lot of time looking at it and thinking about it. But I came up to one thing that I think is fundamental to any type of success that works. And that is accountability. Accountability. Why is accountability so important? Accountability is important because everybody makes mistakes. Nothing is mistake-free. And that's the beauty of it. But accountability, when I'm giving an account of what I'm doing, I did this, I'm sorry, it's wrong, I made a mistake, and now let's see how we can fix it so it would not happen again. That accountability builds trust. When you're trusting someone, when I trust you and you trust me, now we can work one another. We can work together. We can say, okay, what is it that we are doing? If there is no trust, because there's no accountability, nothing works. I'm all for myself. I'm doing everything myself. I cannot work with you because I don't trust you. And that has to do with companies, it has to do with family life, it has to do with us as a nation, it has to do with us as human beings as well, on a global scale. If there is no trust, that's only because there's no accountability. And then there's no success. Of course, we all have to know what are we doing and why we're doing. We have to define the mission. But that's so how does it come to play in life in terms of accountability? Well, in any normal military unit, after an operation, after they know exactly what are the objectives of the operation, what needs to be done, who is there that they need to capture, what they need to achieve, what hill they need to take over, and so on and so forth, there is an objective. So that comes before. After the operation, there has to be a genuine debrief. When you debriefing and you're saying what the heck exactly happened, what worked, what didn't work, it is not about finding scapegoats. or it's not an opportunity for you to try to push yourself in to get a medal. We're all putting everything on the table. That's why special op units work, because they work as team. The spirit of the team is very important. If the parties of the team don't work well, the team is a failure. The mission failed before it even started. There has to be a team building. But when there is a debrief, we are saying exactly what happened. It's not to cover up our backs or our rear backs or rear ends or whatever it is, to cover up for something. That's wrong, because when you're busy in covering up, when you're developing a culture of lying, and there are certain places that the culture is to lie all the time, to cover up. When you're doing that, what you're doing is you're putting yourself and your friends in danger, because there is no conclusion that can come up out of it how to fix what didn't work, because you're covering up for yourself. So when you cover up for yourself, so therefore I cannot trust you because you're not accountable. How do we have it in Judaism? Listen to the words, Ashamnu, Bagadnu, and so on and so forth. The fact that we say Vidui, Ashamnu, Bagadnu, and so on and so forth, that is an accountability. I'm looking at what I did, and these are the things that I did wrong. What I did right, I know, I put tefillin on, I did mitzvah on, and so on and so forth. Did I do kibbud av va'em today? No, I didn't. But I said, Ashamnu, it's all our fault. Why is it our fault? Because we are all in this together. So when you do an avera, argument's sake, it's my fault as well, to a certain extent. I wouldn't say it's 50%, I wouldn't say it's 70%, but even if it's 5%, my fault that I was not there, telling you, well, listen, buddy, what are you doing? It's my fault as well. I need to give an account for what's going on. We cannot say, well, you know what, there are the frum people, there are religious people, they keep Torah mitzvot, the other people, lo chpat li, I don't really care about them, gesundheit, goodbye. That doesn't work. It's our responsibility as well. Yes, there is a concept in Torah that's called ubi'al tahara mikirbecha. You have to eradicate bad from you, but you need to identify that this is bad, and then you need to do whatever you can before you throw it out. Try to fix it, because these are the tools that you have to win the war with. So if you have, for example, an invading force, you can't say, well, you know what, let's throw away the 9mm guns. We don't need it. We only need cannons. No, you need that 9mm gun as well, that pistol. Not only the rifle, you need the pistol also, because it could be that that's going to be your last thing, and that's what will make the difference in the whole battle, your 9mm gun. We need every resources we can. And the importance of the other person will only come when we give an account for what we're doing. We're accountable for what we're doing, and therefore we develop trust with one another. Yes, the mission has to be very well defined. You don't go to a war and you're saying, well, let's just go to a war and we'll see what happened. Like the Arabs is in 1967, they still want to do it today, but at least at the time they said it. We got to push the Jews to the ocean. That doesn't work. You have to define what you want, and then you have to make a plan on how you're going to go there. Do we live our life like a military mission? Do we have a mission description, an objective of what needs to be done? And as they say in the military, is that mission is Lima Charlie? Is that like loud and clear? Do you know what you're doing? When you go to a mission, you don't say, okay, we got the hostages, all good. There are certain stages that you have to go. When you pass those gates, right? Whatever you call this, each mission has we passed this one, X. We passed this one, X. You give an account while you're there what's going on. And how do you become a moral army? Because you have people inside that are wildly in the operation to make sure that the team is not doing, atrocities. It's accountability. As the team, as an individual, as the team, as the unit, as the army, as a nation. And you cannot wait, and you should not wait for the other person to give an account on what they're doing. You have to start, it has to start with you. You have to set an example. And when you set an example for accountability, people will start to trust you. It's not a point of weakness. On the contrary, that shows you strength. And then you're being marked as a leader. And then you could really face it. But today it's not. We all want to lead, to become leaders without leading the people. And we don't want to give an account for what we did. I did something wrong, I'm going to resign. We don't do that. And because we don't do that, there's no trust. Because there's no trust, we can't execute anything that we need to execute. And the way we're going like this is going to be probably chas v'shalom another 2,000 years before we're going to see Mashiach, unless we're going to understand that that's what needs to be done. And that means that, for example, if you have to be somewhere at a certain time, doesn't make a difference if you go to your job, and let's say you need to be there at, 9 o'clock. And the boss says, it's okay, you can come here at 9:30 also. It doesn't mean that if everybody else comes at 9:30, you need to be there at 9 o'clock. Because you know what? When everybody's going to get fired, you're going to stay hired. That's the way it works. But also, together with that, you can't say, yes, I'm sorry, chatati, aviti, pashati, I did wrong, but then do nothing about it. That's a problem. One of the reasons the American army is so advanced is because they do have a certain method of learning from mistakes, not only of themselves, of others. I can tell you something that, again, this is my opinion. The Israeli army is a living, mobile lab for battlefield experiences and so on and so forth because they had. Unfortunately, the American army learns more about what happened in the battlefield and implements it than the Israelis themselves. We also make mistakes. We do great things, but we don't learn, we don't fix it, so it's always happening. So Rabotai, it's time to start building trust, and that will be by having accountability for our actions and fixing it and make sure it doesn't happen again. Because next time somebody's going to get hurt. Next time the mission is going to be a failure. Maybe you did the mission, but if the mission was executed wrong or in a bad way, even if nobody got hurt, but it was done wrong, okay, yashar koach for doing the mission. But let's sit down and let's see why it happened, because that can cost somebody's life next time. And every day that we don't understand that and implement this, we are delaying the coming of Mashiach. We are failing every day that we don't do it. We implement our mistakes. We are failing on our job. It's not about ourselves. It's about our team. And we need to develop a team spirit. Yes, and that starts, how does it start? That starts with you, with the guy sitting next to you in shul. That starts then later on to the congregation. That's your platoon. And then it goes on to the city, and this is how it spreads. We as a team need to do so. So therefore, if you see your friend not learning well, say, listen, buddy, what's going on? Talk to him. Bring them closer. You see somebody out, bring them closer. Think that maybe there's a reason why the other person is not becoming frum or doesn't come to shul, is maybe because something that we don't do, that we build trust in them. Another thing is that you should never do is throw people under the bus. If you did something wrong, do not throw anyone under the bus. Sit down, be a man. Say, listen, I made a mistake. That's how it needs to be done. Do me a favor, help me not to do this again. If I do this, so let me know. But never throw people under the bus, because that's just the opposite of building trust. So, if you want to know further, I will tell you, I love military books. I like books that people write about their experience in the army and so on and so forth. I will tell you, learn them. If you want to learn leadership, read these books. Read books about the military, different military units, about different people in the military. You know, that's the way I can tell you. Listen to, what's his name? I like him, this guy. Okay. Jocko Willings. I like the guy. Guy is good. I like the way he talks. Listen, I mean, one of my favorite books, and I told you that a million times ago, was written by the guy named Peter Blabber. Right? It's The Mission, the Men, and Me. Fantastic book for leadership. Read, what's his name? What's the name of the shooter they got? Kyle something. Chris Kyle. All these books. Read about them. Learn. Don't just read it. It's not like reading Jack London book about, the Great Frontier in Alaska. These are books that you can actually implement of people that are top tier. They're tier 1. And if they become tier 1, we should become also. If we are not, so let's see why. Let's give an account for why we are failing. Don't blame your friend for not failing, because you have a share in that as well. Have a nice day.